Hello, my name is Ember. Welcome back to my channel where I play The Sims 4. So, you may know a new pack just came out for The Sims. It's been a while. Well, it's been a while since a good pack, you know. We're not talking about my wedding stories. But the Werewolves game pack just came out for The Sims 4, and I thought it would be fun to make my own little wolf pack of trans werewolves. So yeah, everyone in this little family is trans. I kind of wanted to make like more Sims, but it took me like 3 hours just to make these 3 Sims because I went like really detailed. So probably 3 is a good idea, just capping it there. There's some really cool stuff in Create a Sim in this pack. A lot of very like queer looks. I really like the hairstyles, especially the mullet with like the hair dye. It looks so cool. This video is not like a showing off all the CAS assets video, you can kind of see a lot of them in it like as I'm choosing things for these Sims, and I like played around with some of the new scars and tattoos. I did mess around with like the nose rings, and this is just sort of a problem with nose rings in The Sims in general, is that like with certain nose types they don't work right. Like sometimes I'll put on a septum piercing and it's like squished because of how their like nostrils are. It's very weird. But that I did kind of, I don't know, I like the idea of the double nose piercing that they introduced with this pack, but it didn't work great on some of my Sims. Because of like their nose shape, it would just like float off to the side. And then also like the first swatch that's supposed to be black, I think, it looks pinkish for some reason, so that's kind of weird. One problem with creating any occult in The Sims 4 is that they will not stop doing their little occult animation. So I did set the clock speed to 0 here for a little bit so that like they would stop doing that. So I apologize if the Sims look a little creepy, especially when I was working on Guadalupe here. She was frozen most of the time, and it is just a little bit creepy, but I think she's a really cool Sim. I felt like her style was a little bit more like refined. I don't know if refined is the best word, but I just felt like some of the stuff from the pack wouldn't fit her personal particular style. But it did work really well for her younger sibling, Brynn. So basically my idea for this little family, this little trans wolf pack, well, so like I said, everyone is trans, basically. And Guadalupe is a young adult, and she is dating Tobias, who is also a young adult. And then Brynn is Guadalupe's younger sibling, and they are a teenager. And actually have not like become a werewolf yet. But my idea was that, like, for Brynn, maybe it's, like, dormant, you know, they have to make it come out. I did hear some people talking about that there's, like, a way where Sims can, like, pass down the werewolf trait to, like, some of their children and then not to others, and then it'll be dormant and then they have to, like, bring it out. But I haven't found any functionality for that in the game. So, like, if you play with spellcasters, right, they'll have a little trait that says, like, full-blooded whatever, or, like, there's something in there that tells you about, like, their spellcaster heritage that was passed down to them and stuff, and that, like, can have an effect on them. But I did some experimentation. I didn't find anything like that for werewolves. And it appears that Brynn just, like, isn't a werewolf, but I don't know, maybe there's some way to, like, bring it out, because Brynn and Guadalupe do have, like, the same dad who's a werewolf, and they had, like, different mothers, but neither of them were werewolves, so it shouldn't have made a difference. I don't know, I did some experimenting, and I didn't see anything about, like, hidden werewolf-ism, but maybe that's a thing. If it is a thing that you know about, let me know in the comments down below, that would be great. So I used a bit of eco lifestyle for the clothes. I thought it went pretty well with, like, the theme of this pack, and I definitely, like, I really do like the outfits, the Create a Sim assets from this pack, but I don't think you'd be able to use it, like, by itself. I mean, you know, you could figure something out with just base game and the werewolf pack, but they're definitely, as with a lot of packs, like, there's not really anything marked as hot weather. There's not really, like, swimwear. There's some stuff you could use as sleepwear. So it's like you could maybe make an outfit using these clothes for most of the categories. But they are also very, like, stylized. They're very ripped up and torn. Actually, most of these clothes I feel like look best on the the werewolf forms themselves. Like some of them that I was like, these look kind of weird on the Sims. And then I saw it on their werewolf form and I was like, oh no, that looks amazing. So I think some of them were made for more for the werewolf forms, which kind of makes sense. I mean, especially with the really ripped clothes, like that might be what they're wearing in their werewolf form. But it would have been nice if there was like some not ripped versions that we could use on the human form or something. And then when they transformed, it's more ripped or something. I don't know. I thought that would have been nice. There were a lot of scars that came with this pack, which was pretty cool. A lot of different types of scars that I like played around with, and there are also a lot of tattoos as well that were really cool. I don't think the scars show up on the werewolves. I didn't like fully check, but like, I mean, on the werewolf form, their scars don't seem to carry over. I guess maybe they're hidden under the fur, but the werewolf fur is like basically the same as the cats and dogs from, Cats and Dogs. And you can like, there's coat color, coat patterns. You can like choose from different colors. I do kind of wish there were more options because I wasn't super happy with the options that there are. But there is a color wheel for you to paint on your werewolf. But not for like, if you're using the different like coat color patterns, you can only choose from a few different, like from some different colors. But there is a color wheel to like draw on your werewolf if you wanted to do that. There's also like you can change their facial features, you can change their ears and their little tufts of fur and their noses. It's weird. So like you can change the color of their nose, and that seems to also change the color of like the outline around their eyes. I'm not sure how I feel about the appearance of the werewolves, like their werewolf form, but it's like, I think it's okay. It's pretty good. They're obviously very anthropomorphic. But I think they're cute, and there's a lot of ways to customize them. And, like, it's cool. You can decide, if you want them to wear, like, human clothes or not. There's also piercings, like, specifically for the werewolves. Like, there seem to be piercings you can put, like, on their noses and their ears. I didn't really feel like that super fit for my Sims, but that is an option, I guess. It was hard to figure out, like, how to give my Sims a werewolf form that I felt reflected them, like as a werewolf, but I ended up on this sort of like cheetah-y pattern for Guadalupe, and I thought it looked really cute on her, honestly. You do want to be careful. So when you're adjusting like the werewolf form, the werewolf and sim forms are linked. So if you don't unlink them, then whatever you change on the werewolf form will change on the sim, and whatever you change on the sim will change on the werewolf form. So like, for example, if you want to change their like body shape or clothes in one form and not the other, you need to make sure that you click the 3 little dots. So when you click on the profile of the sim, it'll show you their werewolf form. There's a little link. You don't really want to click that link unless you want them to like copy over everything the same between the werewolf and the human form. But if you want to unlink or link specific things, you can click the 3 dots above that and like choose if you want to link their hair, their body type, their clothes, that sort of thing. Because I was kind of confused because I like changed the body type of my werewolf and then it changed my sim and I didn't realize that those were connected. So that's definitely something to be aware of. Also, like, look at how cute the icon for the werewolf aspiration is. Like, it is so adorable. I wish they would have used that somewhere else in the pack too, because it's just so cute. It's this cute little wolf. And I think the way that they've done the aspirations is kind of interesting. It seems like there's one that you can start off with, but then there's like diverging paths that you can go along. So it really, like, it's frustrating that there's no traits and stuff that come with this pack, and there's only like, it only appears to be one aspiration. But I think they did a pretty good job of allowing like customization and like different pathways for the werewolves, because they can even like, they can develop specific traits, like they'll like certain things or dislike certain things or be affected by them in new ways. So like some Sims will be very like angsty and sad when they feel like people aren't paying attention to them. Some like hate sleeping indoors, that sort of thing. And then like, from what I can tell, it's like when you complete the first werewolf aspiration, it'll unlock new ones that you can choose. So like all of your werewolf Sims aren't going to be the same. And I like that because I feel like it incentivizes you to play like with multiple werewolves or multiple times with werewolves, because I feel like sometimes for other occults it all feels kind of the same. Like, if you're playing as a spellcaster, it's pretty easy to just learn all of the magic types. Or, like, if you're a vampire, there's some different traits you can choose, but it's pretty easy to just sort of unlock most of the things. But it does seem like there is a good bit of customization here, which I really like. My idea for Brynn when I was, like, designing their clothes is that they were very colorful. I mean, they have this, like, bright pink and purple hair. I wanted to try not to make them look exactly like the pre-made werewolf Rory, who has, I think, like the blue version of this colorful mullet, but I do think Rory is really cool and, like, it definitely seems queer-coded to me. I mean, maybe it's the colorful mullet, I don't know. I don't actually know if there's any, like, canonically queer townies or anything that come with this pack. It doesn't seem like the relationships are developed to that degree, but it would be cool. I also gave Brynn, like, purple eyes as well. I figured, you know, maybe they have some colored contacts in to go with that whole colorful theme. And of course they have some scars and tattoos as well. So basically my idea for these Sims is, like, they, you know, they're all trans. They weren't being accepted at home. Brynn and Guadalupe did not get along with their werewolf dad, and so they decided to leave, go off on their own all together, and form their own little pack. And I know that there are some packs that come with the game pack, but I don't know, they seem like, I don't like how hierarchical they are. Like, I get why they did it, I guess, but in real life, wolf packs are not hierarchical like that. Like, the idea that there's alphas and betas and omegas and stuff is, like, faulty. It's based on faulty research, and, like, assuming that family groups of wolves observed in captivity are the exact same as wolves in the wild, which is just not true. So I don't know, it's kind of annoying to me that they, like, made it so hierarchical and stuff. Even though I like the idea of the packs, I just don't really like the idea of, like, having to rise up through the ranks or something. I'm thinking maybe they'll make their own little trans anarchist wolf pack, even though, like, you can't technically do that. But I don't know, we can make our own hideout and stuff, right? Even if it won't have all the same functionality as the wolf packs that, like, come with the game. There's some cool jewelry with this pack as well. There's, like, a nice little moon necklace, and there's, like, a pendant that's round, and, like, it has different swatches. One of them is, like, rainbow, and there's, like, a little wolf paw inside of it. I don't know how I feel about it. It doesn't, like, it kind of looks, a lot of the swatches I don't like, I'll be honest. But it's kind of cool. It's like a little, I guess it's like a dog tag type thing, maybe. And then this is Tobias. I kind of went back and forth on, like, which hairstyle to give him, but I think this one, like, I did end up liking it, and I thought, like, the green really suits him. He really likes to howl. As I said, all these werewolves, they're just howling all of the time in Create a Sim. If you do want to turn off the, like, if you want to pause their movement so that they don't do that, the way you do that is you gotta turn cheats on first. So you do Control-Shift-C, testing cheats, space on, and then I'll turn cheats on. And then you type CAS clock speed space 0, and that will pause them, but it will pause them in, like, whatever position they were in, so make sure they're in a good position that you want them to be in and not, you know, in the middle of a howl. And then if you want to set it back to normal, you just do again CAS clock speed and then 1. I think there's other ways, like, I think you can slow it down and speed it up too, but yeah. There were some of the shirts, the tops I didn't end up using, but there were a lot of really cool swatches on them. I definitely suggest, like, if you do get the pack, going through and, like, looking at each swatch. And also some of them have, like, special stuff on the back that I didn't even notice. Like, you can't really see just from looking in Create a Sim. But, like, you'll see on the back of some of the jackets and stuff, they have, like, very cool little illustrations. There's little patches on them. So definitely, like, I don't know, check out all sides of the clothes. You might find some cool Easter eggs that you didn't realize were there. And I know sometimes I personally, like, I'll miss out on cool swatches just because I didn't, like, check through all of them. And, like, I just assumed, oh, like, that's kind of a boring shirt. And then you check some and you're like, oh, wait, that one's cool. And some of these t-shirts have some really interesting swatches. A lot of the clothes that come with this pack are very ripped and destroyed. I don't know how much use you'd get with them with, like, just a normal Sim. The, like, ripped up tennis shoes, I don't know. I used them a few times, but I just felt like it was, like, kind of too silly. I feel like it would make sense on the wolf versions of them, you know, their werewolf forms. But on the human forms, it's just, like, I don't know. It just felt a little bit out of place, to be honest. And I don't think the werewolf versions like even wear shoes. Like, I think they just automatically don't wear shoes, but you could probably put shoes on them. I really wanted to give Tobias top surgery scars, but we don't really have those. We just have these werewolf scars, so I just gave him, you know, some werewolf claw marks across the chest. It's not the same, but it does look kind of cool, so. Also, I noticed that one of the swatches of the shirt with, like, the girl on it looks really weird and scrunched up on masculine frame Sims. I think it looks normal on feminine frame Sims, so that's kind of weird. I don't know why that's a thing. I also gave Tobias like another hairstyle with a little bit of a bun. I thought it like matched pretty well with the hairstyle. I like to do that sometimes where like I'll let the Sims, you know, put their hair up for one outfit and try to like make it sort of match with the hair they have in their other outfits. And I just thought it worked well for his like hot weather and athletic wear to have like a little bit of a bun, get that hair out of your face, you know. I definitely get like eco lifestyle vibes from the pants in this pack, just like how ripped and torn they are. There was a lot of that in eco lifestyle too, and all the like patches and stuff. I mean, it's definitely a cool look. It's just I probably won't use them very often for a lot of Sims. I don't know. Maybe some people would. I mean, I don't personally wear ripped jeans all that often, so, but like, even people who normally wear ripped jeans, they're not normally ripped like this, right? Like, this is kind of unusual, right? One thing I did realize is that the werewolves will like have eyebrows. So they'll have eyebrows and they will by default like match whatever your Sim's eyebrows are in their like human form. So if you find it looking a little weird, you might want to go in and like change up their eyebrows for their werewolf form and like change the color of it. There's also like they have an outline around their eyes and their mouth, and that seems to be connected to the nose color. So whatever color you change the nose to, it's going to affect like the outline they have around their eyes and mouth. So just pay attention to that if you think like their eyes look weird. You can also change to different eye forms and stuff and different noses, you know. So there is a good bit of customization you can do on like their face. It's honestly really similar to what you can do with like dogs and cats and dogs. But yeah, I think honestly, I do think that a lot of the Create a Sim items fit better on their wolf forms. I did encounter a glitch a few times where like when I was in my Sims, like normal Sim form, I couldn't see like the clothes. So I would go to like different outfits and click on the clothes and nothing would show up. It would just like that whole area was empty. And I don't really know why. I originally thought it was mods, but I don't think it was because I took out my mods and then tried again and it happened again. When I did it, it seemed to be related to going into their werewolf form and then going back to their human form. When that did happen, I just I left Create a Sim and then came back in and it was fine. So hopefully that's fix that will work for everyone. But just so you know, that did happen to me a couple times where like I couldn't click on items. I couldn't click on outfits and clothes and stuff. So if that does happen to you, maybe like leave Create a Sim and go back in and hopefully it'll be fixed. You know, hopefully that's a bug that is just addressed in general and we don't have to fix it ourselves, but you know. So yeah, that's my trans wolf pack. I really like them. I hope that you do too. If you enjoyed this video, you can give it a like and subscribe to see more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time.